Hey guys, Cecil here once again. In today's video I'm going to take a look at a couple of combination systems back from the 16-bit era, and that's the JVC X'Eye, and I'm going to compare it to the Sega CDX. Now, going back to the early 90s, this was kind of the advent of CD technology and the advantages it had. I mean, streaming video, a large amount of space for the time, and things of that nature, and that was really becoming popular on PCs back then. And a lot of the console makers, Sega, Nintendo, and NEC with their TurboGrafx console were looking to try and put that technology into their consoles, and it was to mixed results for the most part. Sega was the second console company to release a CD system here in America. NEC was the first with their Turbo CD system. And after the initial release of the Sega CD and a couple of years had gone by, they had licensed the tech to JVC to create a combination Genesis and Sega CD system, and one called the JVC X'Eye, and it retailed for about $400 when it came out. And then also around that time, Sega came out with their own Sega CD and Genesis unit, one called the Sega CDX, and it was very tiny, compact, and it was also really expensive. I think it was like $400 to $500 when that one came out. I'd have to go look online to be sure. But yeah, let's. I'm gonna go compare these two consoles and show you the advantages and disadvantages of both. And yeah, let's go check that out right now. Okay guys, here we go. We've got our JVC X'Eye here on the left, and you got the Sega CDX on the right here. Now obviously the biggest difference here is the X'Eye has a much larger footprint than the CDX, but that's not a big deal. Just to give you a size comparison, here's a Genesis Model 2. Now the X'Eye is definitely the biggest of the three here, but I would say if you combine a Genesis Model 2 with a Sega CD Model 2, the X'Eye is definitely smaller than that, which is kind of nice, and obviously the CDX quite dwarfs that whole monstrosity of a combination. Now taking a look at the X'Eye itself, you've got your power and reset buttons, nice big round buttons, can't miss them. You've got your open door, CD door button right there. It just kind of clicks shut like any normal top-loading CD-based system. You've got your kind of nice square Genesis port, which is nice. Then you've got just kind of standard front two Genesis controller ports, pretty standard fare. On the back here, you've got two options for AV out. You've got your composite out, standard 3, yellow, white, red composite jack, and then you've also got a Genesis 2 AV out, which is kind of nice, and then you've got your power port right there. Now, the Japanese version of this system actually is quite sought after. It's called the Wonder Mega, and one of the big advantages of the Wonder Mega is that it had S-Video out and a few other features that they took out of the American X'Eye, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. The X'Eye still has really good video quality, and it's definitely going to be a hell of a lot cheaper than a Wonder Mega. I think Wonder Megas go for about $400 or $500 on eBay, and X'Eye is probably going to run you maybe $50 to $60. So yeah, there's the X'Eye. Taking a look at the CDX now. Obviously, a very, very compact unit, especially for the time. I mean, even compared to today, I mean, a Wii is about the same size as a Wii here, maybe even a little smaller than that. I'd have to go take a comparison and see what would actually be smaller. On the front here, you've got your open CD door right there. It's kind of a clicky kind of door compared to the CDX, or excuse me, the X'Eye, which isn't a bad thing. You've got your rewind and forward buttons for your CD tracks. You got your play pause for CDs, stop button for CDs. There's your reset button. It's got a nice little LCD screen right there that's backlit. It'll tell you what track and everything you're on if you're listening to CDs or even on the Sega CD games themselves. Your power button's kind of just a big front button right here, and you've got your two Genesis ports right there. Now, if you look at the Genesis controller ports on here, you'll have to have a specific kind of a 4-player adapter to be able to play 4-player Genesis games on here. I think I forget what the manufacturer who made it, but there's two wires that connect to these controller ports, and then there's a big piece of plastic that kind of sits out in front here, and then you plug your 4 Genesis games into there. Versus there's another 4-player adapter for the Genesis that just is one piece of plastic that fits right on the front here, and you can use that on the X'Eye. You can't use that on the CDX. And that plastic, you got your 4 controller ports right in front, so that's kind of nice. You can use two different kind of adapters with the X'Eye versus just the one on the CDX. Now, on the side of the CDX here, you've got your a battery door here for 2 AA batteries, which will allow you to listen to music CDs, but you can't play Genesis games or Sega CD games off of battery power. You have to have the unit plugged in. Then you just got a line out for AV, a volume switch for your CD, and there's your headphone jack on the back here. There's your power adapter, and then on the side here you've got your AV port for Genesis 2, which is a pretty standard port. So yeah, that's kind of comparing the X'Eye and the CDX, at least as far as aesthetically and everything. So now let's go take a listen, and I'll tell you about all the advantages and the pros and cons of the system, and which I think ultimately you should take a purchase if you're looking to get a Sega CD and a Genesis unit in one. So let's go take a look at that right now. Okay, guys, so there you have it. There's one minor thing I forgot to mention in the previous segment on the X'Eye itself, and I forgot totally about it on the side here. If you can kind of see, there's a microphone out and a headphone jack, so if you have karaoke CDs and everything, you can play them on the X'Eye, which is actually a nice little feature of that. So yeah, kind of final thoughts on both systems, and what I would say ultimately you should look at getting. Even though the X'Eye itself is a lot bigger, it's definitely going to be a hell of a lot cheaper than a CDX, probably about half of what you pay nowadays on eBay. One advantage of the X'Eye here over the CDX is the 16-bit cartridge port. It's a nice square port. It doesn't have like the proprietary Genesis US port that the CDX has. So if you have import Mega Drive games that you want to play that don't have any kind of territorial lockout, you can plug them right into your X'Eye here and play them on your US system, which is actually kind of nice. The X'Eye, like I said itself in the previous segment, this is probably on eBay gonna these days, maybe running about 50 to 60 bucks. Not overly expensive comparatively. A Sega CD Genesis unit to come together maybe be a little bit cheaper than that. These, like I said, aren't really highly sought after compared to the CDX, just because the CDX is a little bit more collectible. But I would say video quality wise, just from my personal viewing of the systems and everything, I would say it got slightly better video quality on the X'Eye versus the CDX. Maybe this is because it's got a little bit more room to breathe and doesn't have all the compact components that the CDX does. But there's by no means that saying the CD quality on the Sega CDX is bad. Like I said, so the X'Eye is a really quality system. It can do a lot of cool stuff. Like I said, if you want to really get the ultimate, Sega CD Genesis Unit 1, try and track down a Japanese Wonder Mega, but you're going to be paying out the ass for one of those. And just kind of looking at the CDX, I would say obviously the biggest advantage with the CDX is that it's just going to be a really nice compact unit. If you don't have much space in your entertainment center and you want to have a Sega Genesis and Sega CD hooked up in one, the X'Eye definitely isn't a bad unit to have. It's going to probably run you about $100 to $120 on eBay nowadays, so it's definitely a little bit more expensive than your X'Eye. You can play your Genesis ports, like I said. Here's kind of the molded plastic territorial lockouts. You don't have that on the X'Eye. You can listen to use this as a portable CD player, although why anyone these days would need that as a feature, I don't know. But yeah, it's a great compact little unit. It's kind of expensive, probably the most sought after collectible American Genesis system out there. And it's great. I actually have two of them. My other CDX is missing the battery door, so I don't really use that one very often, but I have it as a backup. I got a good deal on it. And I really don't think you can go wrong with either of these units, but for money's sakes, for features and quality, I would say if you're kind of a gamer on a budget, definitely go with the X'Eye. But if you got space requirements, you don't have a lot of space, you want kind of a neat little collectible system, I would definitely say the CDX isn't a bad alternative. Just be prepared to pay a little bit more. And also there are a handful of Sega CD games that have compatibility issues with the CDX, but there's none of the really well sought after games. There's just a few FMV games that have a bit of an issue playing on this. So yeah, there's my comparison of the CDX and the X'Eye. What do you think? Do you think the CDX is kind of more awesome? Do you like the X'Eye a lot better? Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. In the next video, I'm gonna hopefully take a look at either the Neo Geo Pocket Color. I'm still kind of finishing up my Mario 3D Land review. I know I've been kind of saying that for the last week or so that I'm going to have that up. So one of my next videos will be on one of those two subjects. So I'll see you guys next time. You take it easy and have a good one.